Hello and welcome to Goal Line Gossip. I'm lost for words. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on the intro because I almost thought that I wouldn't do this show again. With this big matches, you sort of feel like it's a drag because at the end of the day you're on the losing end. I mean, let's get on with the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to start with the Arsenal match. So the final score was Arsenal 3, Manchester United 1. I'll start off with my thoughts and I'll pass it on to Jishmeister. So I think although it's 3-1, it didn't look like 3-1. That's what I'll say. It was a very close match. Either team could have won. That Havertz penalty, which was, like, in all fairness, it was given by Anthony Taylor and then quite rightfully ruled out. So I think we got lucky there. And also, like, the Garnacho offside, which was, we thought that, it was a goal and the slightest of, I think his hand was sticking out or whatever, it was called offside. So, but the game, like, drastically changed in the last 10 minutes. Again, like 8 minutes of added time. I need to get used to this because it's kind of weird for me. And it almost seems like, your players need to play another match after the match is over. And definitely when you have people like Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans, defending, I cannot believe that Harry Maguire has managed to stay in the club and also has managed to get minutes against, with United against Arsenal in a big match. And that's very, very, very embarrassing. I think it just goes to show that, he was right in terms of, if I stay back, I get the money and I'll probably get to play some, which means I get to, start for Southgate as well, because that's where he shines, apparently. So I would like to start off by looking at the first half. I think when I look at the first half, if I had to label the first half, if that was a book, the cover would be The Good and Bad of Christian Eriksen. We all saw that pass, that fantastic pass to Rashford. They made one mistake, we got one chance, and of course Rashford back in his left-hand side just had one shot and it went in. Maybe Ramsdale could have done a little bit more, but doesn't really matter. It was a really good shot and we were 1-0 up. And the bad side of Eriksen, I don't know, maybe it was seconds or maybe a minute later, where he was supposed to mark Odegaard, but he couldn't. And that's what I'm trying to say, that, although Eriksen has been put into that number 8 role where he's trying to rotate the ball from front to back, he's always been a number 10, and that's where he shines. Of course, he's lost his legs, so maybe, this is his new role, but he doesn't know how to defend. He doesn't know how to position himself. And that was like Odegaard was free, and he was the person who was supposed to mark him. So again, he's the one who created that goal, but he's also like at fault, for the second one. And that happened like so quick. And that is again something that Manchester United definitely they need to work on. I think we were still celebrating when that goal went in, which is embarrassing from a Manchester United point of view. Yes, we've scored a spectacular goal. We did the same thing last year at Emirates as well with Rashford, but we also need to find the way to have the roots, get the groove back, because Arsenal are going to come at you. They've gone one down at Emirates after that loss at Fulham. They are going to give it all. So you need to be.
It felt like a loss, but it was a draw.
It was a 2-2
draw. It was a draw. Oh, my bad. There you go. But anyways, points dropped at Emirates, right? So, they're going to come at you and you need to defend. So that was the first half. I think it was pretty even Stevens. In the second half, I think we were the better team in terms of... So in the first half, the possession was majority on United, but then it was mostly in our halves because Onana was almost playing as a third defender at the back, and it was going really well. But I think in the second half we shifted our gears a little bit more. Of course, we saw Rasmus Højlund and Garnacho introduced again. Young players, they're going to run a lot and they're going to have an effect on the field. And we were doing really well. We, of course, got lucky with the Havertz penalty. In real time, I thought it would have stolen one penalty as well. But again, video refereeing, so VAR full marks this week, at least for this game. That was not a penalty. And Also, like if you look at the Garnacho offside, that was not an offside. That was an offside. He was not onside. So great from a refereeing point of view. But what I'm trying to say is this could easily would have been a match where we win, or it could have been a draw. I did not think it was going to be 3-1. However, when Johnny Evans came to the field, when Victor Lindelof was subbed, and when Harry Maguire got introduced, when Martinez was off, I thought that this is the best opportunity Arsenal are going to get ever to come at us. And I think that's what they did. Because if you look at the Declan Rice goal, that was just a straightforward shot, right? And he had all the time in the world, take the ball on his chest, put it down, and then shoot, right? And if you look at what Johnny Evans and Maguire are doing, Johnny Evans was scuffling with, I think, with Gabriel, but he still had time to like recover and probably like could have done more in order to like close him down. Maguire just stands there and sticks his foot out, and they got lucky. Of course, it's a lucky goal, but again, like Onana in the back, you can say maybe he could have done more.
I think that deflection was off of Evans, not Maguire. I think so.
Either way, they look the same to me. The problem is that so now that Lindelof, Martinez, and Varane are injured, are we saying that we need to get used to watching Maguire and Evans as our centre back? That's the worst centre back pairing in the
Why
whole
don't
Premier
you
League.
sign Sergio Ramos as a free agent?
I think it's because of the money, man. The amount of money he's going to ask for salary. We don't have money. Do you think we're paying a lot to Johnny Evans? No, absolutely not. He's just there because he's a Manchester boy.
I don't think Ramos will ask for a lot of money.
Of course he will. He could have easily gone to the Saudi.
First of all, he's coming out of PSG. So
he already went to Kuwait or something. I think Kuwait or Qatar.
Yeah. He went to the Arab nation, one of the Arab nations. It's already done, and I don't think we could have afforded him. So that's there. But again, like if I had to sum up Manchester United, this match, I think there are obvious worries all around the pitch, and mostly like defensively. Because and I talked about this in the last podcast as well. The reason why we finished third last season is because of our defense. Yes, we conceded 7 against Liverpool. Yes, we conceded 5 or 6 against City. But at the same time, we had a lot of clean sheets. We had the highest number of clean sheets, and that helped us to get top 4 and be in the third spot and not Newcastle, right? So that was there, and we don't see that this season. Of course, Onana is a new keeper. I don't really want to get into a debate where who's the better shot stopper. You can have your pick, you can have your favorite, but what I'm trying to say, it's a change, right? So people need to get used to how they play, how they react. Even fans need to get used to, how this new player is going to fit in, and also the defenders. Everybody says Onana is a fantastic signing, and it is it had to be done. I disagree completely. I know he's a really good goalkeeper, and I'm not saying that he's not great. But what I'm trying to say is that when you have a goalkeeper who can make progressive plays, you also need players up front who can help you facilitate that. If you watch the game today, we had the majority of the possession in our half, which is kind of okay. I wouldn't say that's bad, but at the same time, the moment you would have, if you're watching the match, you'd see like Onana would try to like shoot the balls in the wings, like sometimes, and 9 times out of 10 we were not able to get to that ball. Sometimes I think their right back Ben White was cutting the crosses. Sometimes it was on the left hand side. And what I'm trying to say is, again, so when he's trying to pass it, we don't have like really tall, sturdy midfielders who's going to take the ball down, or even Rashford for that instance, right? So we need the right players in order to play in that right style. And the moment when you take Martinez and Varane out of the game, do you think Lindelof, Maguire, and Evans can play in the progressive style of play? I disagree, because I have seen them, and I've seen them for years. I mean, even Johnny Evans, like he was there last in the United shirt in 2015 or something like that. So I know his playing style, and he's 35 years old. I mean, he doesn't look 35, which is great for him, and the moisturizer that he's using. But at the same time, like,
is he still only 35?
Only? Wow.
I thought he must be 40. I've been watching him since childhood.
That's true.
The only
I mean,
person that's 40 and is Thiago Silva.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I would say a really good win for Arsenal and a really bad loss for United because Arsenal are back in the top five. They've got 10 points, whereas United, where do they go from here? It was always going to be a difficult match for United because, we lost that match against Tottenham. Again, an away loss here as well at the Emirates. Again, another away loss. So we are not turning the wrongs into rights. It's still continuing. And with that, we are making mistakes, like which were not mistakes last season. So we need to improve real fast because after the international break, we have Brighton and then we go to Munich to play Bayern Munich. So
Oh, that's your first game.
that's our first game. So we have to watch Harry Kane run at us, and it's probably going to score because it's the Allianz Arena. But yeah, so that's going to be a lot of hurt as well. So
But
not a good
imagine
day
a
to be a
Champions
Manchester United
League. Imagine a Champions League team having a defense with Maguire
fan.
and Evans
McLaren,
in the
Tony
middle.
Evans.
My God.
Yeah, I mean it's like 3 weeks away. Hopefully somebody's going to be fit. I don't want to see that defensive pairing again in my life. It was dreadful. And the moment I saw both of them, like when I saw Lindelof getting subbed off and Johnny Evans, I knew that Arsenal. This is their time now. They are going to attack and they
Yeah.
will get something out of it. And it happened last year as well with NKT, right? It was a last minute goal as well. So it really, really hurts that in the same fashion when a game which was pretty much even Stevens last season as well. I think it was like 2-2 Martinez score, and it was like pretty good. And we went too defensive. And in this instance, although we were defensively decent in most of the game, with Maguire and Evans, it was not great. Another thing that I would like to point out is for all of you who watched the match, I don't know what are your thoughts about Diego Dallo. I think he was fantastic at left back.
Yeah.
I don't know why we wasted time again chasing for Regulon or Kukurea when you have somebody who can fit in so well. He's in the squad. I know Van Bissaka provides you more defensively, but this guy can also play left back. So why are we wasting time on
No, but we
finding
needed
somebody?
one more fullback, right? I mean, to slot in.
Yeah,
No,
You needed one more as
Malacia
backup.
was injured.
How
Malacia
Yeah, I
long
mean,
was
Shaw is out? How long Shaw is out?
3 months.
2 months. Oh, two.
It's a 3 months. Yeah, so injury-wise, not doing really well, and that's why.
But yeah, Diego Dallo is criminally underrated at United. I think
Yeah, he's
he's
really
a
good.
very good player.
He was superb. He's got that pace as well, right? And he can
Yeah.
go forward and forward and come back as well, which obviously Aaron Van Bissaka can't. I'd also like to say, like before I give it to Meister, that Rashford had a really good game, at least in the first half. He should have made some passes in the second half to Hoyland. He didn't, but that's Rashford. Hopefully he learned. But now that we have a proper striker, right? Uh, who else? Anthony, he gets a lot of stick. Again, I know the price tag is people don't like that. And when you look at the price tag for a winger, you want him to put in crosses, get assists, and score. But I think he had a really good game. He was really good defensively. And I think that's why Eric Ten Hag likes him, because it's not about just going forward. He can track back as well. And he did a pretty decent job. So I'm like very happy with him. Bruno Fernandes made some really good passes in the second half. Again, that could have been a goal. Garnacho goal was, I was celebrating. I don't know about you guys, what you were thinking, Josh Meister, but it seemed like even when they froze the screen without the lines, it
These
kind of
days, you can never celebrate. You always have to wait for the VR.
That's 100% true. And it was horrible for me. And the moment that goal did not was called off, I knew that this is going to go down to the stoppage time, because 8 minutes. What the fuck? But whatever. I'll pass it on to Josh Meister. Congratulations on the win. How are you feeling? I know you're partying with some Manchester United fans. Are they crying as well, or?
Yeah, they're sad. They're sad. Obviously they were on the verge of winning the game with that offside that got ruled out against you guys, right? And I think in 2 years' time, once the new regulations about the offside rule changes, that would have stood. I'm pretty certain it will stand in the future. Um, I don't think you played the best version of Arsenal today. You did not. And it comes down to one guy. I'm telling you, we have not replaced that person adequately. Arsenal fans were criminally undermining that player throughout his entire tenure. I myself included, I would, bash the living daylights out of this guy anytime he would make a mistake. And that's Granite freaking Xhaka.
Exactly.
I'm not kidding you. That that guy used to receive the ball, in spaces because we have Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, and Odegaard, who will always occupy most of the defenders. Okay, and Xhaka was the only guy who used to be, free because obviously other people wanted to be in and around Thomas Partey last season, so Xhaka was always free. Anytime the free man, on the pitch used to be Granit Xhaka, and he had the ability and the intelligence to either ping a pass or zip a pass into Martinelli, or a cross-field pass to Saka, or a mid pass to Jesus. Those the fluid movements were enabled by Granit Xhaka, and Havertz does not possess that eye for a pass. And this is my first criticism of Kai Havertz. He's not a midfielder that can pass the ball, who can hold off a man, who can shimmy a little bit and get um, Martinelli on his bike. Not gonna happen. So he lacks that ability. Next thing, he's not great at the playing in the mid spaces either. Like the role that Trossard typically would play in that role if he were to play in that role. He cannot get into those spaces like Santi Cazorla did, because if you watch today's match, you would have noticed that every time he was getting the ball, he was slowing the game down. He was passing it to Martinelli, and then Martinelli was cutting inside and he was going out wide. What is he going to do going out wide? He cannot cross a ball. He cannot, you know, zip in a ball, like pretty fast and across the goal. So what is he going wide for? He has no purpose there. He's a waste. The only thing that he can truly do is if he becomes a free man available to be at the end of a headed ball. That's the only thing that he can probably do, that we probably don't have, or Xhaka was not able to do. But we're not playing that style of football. So what difference does it make if you notice the first 65 minutes that Havertz was on the pitch? Every time he got the ball in those half spaces, it was basically becoming a wasted opportunity. Like, the game was slowing down and he was a non-entity on the pitch. And as soon as Fabio Vieira came in, and that's why I will give Arsenal a little bit of credit, because I think if the game would have run on for, about another 15, 20 minutes or whatever, we would have created more chances, because even though he does not have the physicality, what's his name, Fabio Vieira, he has the ability to pass the ball. You saw that perfectly weighted pass for Jesus. Even though Jesus is not the fastest striker, he was able to create an opportunity first time. He was able to. And that's his passing ability. But I think with Kai Havertz, we're never going to see the best version of this team. Zinchenko gets neutralized because he doesn't have the support that Xhaka offered him. Of coming back, and Xhaka would sometimes cover the defense part of it, and Zinchenko would go up and join the attack with Martinelli, and he's very good at it because he can turn around, spin around. He has pretty low center of gravity, Zinchenko, which Havertz does not have. I think it's been a disastrous purchase. I did mention in previous shows that I hope Arteta proves me wrong and shows that this is a masterclass of a transfer move. I don't see it happening. I just don't think he has the raw materials, the ability.
But I remember, like, when he was getting bought, you were super excited for him. You kept
Me,
on, yeah. You kept on saying that, Arteta is going to make him play in that Leverkusen style, whatever club that he was before Chelsea. And you
exactly.
were like, oh, yeah, this is Havertz is not a striker. He's meant to do this.
He's meant to be a
You think
second
he's doing that?
striker. I agree. He was meant to, but the problem is that role for our team is occupied by Martin Odegaard. He's the
Fair
closest
point.
player to the striker. So you don't have that role available unless you might see him performing really well if Odegaard, gets benched or something and he plays that role.
Right.
Probably he'll play well. But Odegaard is a better upgrade than him. So what's the point of, buying a player where we already even I've completely forgotten about Emil Smith Rowe. No, we have Emil Smith Rowe, we have
Yeah,
Fabio Vieira. What's the point of buying a player that has been, flopping at Chelsea in the Premier League? This just did not make
But
any logical sense to
he
me.
probably he Arteta can't do that with all the players, right? I mean, I was really happy to see NKT start today, not Gabriel. I don't know what are your thoughts on that, but I think NKTA. I mean, he gets a lot of stick
He's good.
because
He's
he's
good.
not a big player, but he's really good.
He's not bad. He's not bad at all.
He's always running around. He's always
Good hold up play. He can shoot. He can
yeah,
pass.
and
He
he's
can
from
do
your
those one.
academy as well, and I think that's very important to show
100%. No, no,
that
no.
you're
I have
trusting
no
someone.
complaints. I have zero complaints about Eddie and Ketia. Trust me. Of course, Jesus is better. I'm not denying it for sure.
Mhm.
But in my books, I would prefer Callum Wilson. Yesterday, I saw the game between Newcastle. You guys are probably going to talk about that game, but
Shameless.
I might not be able to join in that part of the video. But I just wanted to make a little bit of a comment of a Callum Wilson. Alexander Isak is way better on the ball. He's gonna drift
We
out
can
wide, but I
we
will.
can talk about Newcastle after this, if
For
you
sure,
stick
but
to it.
I will have to drop off because I do have to join my friends. They're waiting to head to Victoria now, so I will have to join them. But just want to get this point across that Callum Wilson is still a better striker in the box, in the D box. He's the better finisher than Alexander Isak. I know he dinks the ball.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking.
of course.
Isak can dink the ball. He can dribble past the goalkeeper. He has those abilities. Obviously, his ceiling is way higher. But right now, not in all games. You don't play an Isak in all of the games. I think Callum Wilson is definitely your best finisher, and he should be leading the line.
And
And
I
going
don't
back,
think, and I think his abilities on the ball are a bit underrated as well. I think
of
he's
course it
not
is. Yeah.
he's not that bad on the ball,
Oh, he's not bad
and
at all. He's pretty good.
yeah,
He's damn good.
he's
He's damn
he's
good. But
pretty decent. And the thing, when you saw how he outfooted the defender there and scored the goal, very few strikers can actually do that.
exactly. And I said this in last year's videos that if you look at the goals to minutes ratios, Callum Wilson is going to be right up there.
Second
Absolutely
best.
right. For the past
He's
three,
the
four
second
seasons,
best.
I think
second
Callum
best, right
Wilson
after
reminds me
Harry
a
Kane.
bit of Diego Costa. Okay, people said that Diego Costa, he cannot, he's not good on the ball. He cannot dribble past defenders. But
Bullshit.
my gosh, was he effective? And
He
Callum
was a
Wilson,
monster
exactly that type
striker.
of
In his
that
prime, he
he's
was a
exactly
monster
that
striker.
type of player.
Diego Costa. Anyway, we kind of digress. So just finishing off, I would tell you that Bukayo Saka, missing those chances, missing penalties, in important moments. I think he has a way to go before we truly term him world class. He has world class ability, but he's still not the finished article, not yet. I get it. He's probably, 21, 22. He still has a lot of time, but he better buckle up. You don't miss those chances. You just do not. You're going to lose titles if you're going to miss those kind of chances, right? So that's him. Kai Havertz is obviously I think we need to replace him, well, in the first team at least, and play somebody else, whether it's a Fabio Vieira or Leandro Trossard, or play Thomas Partey and get Declan Rice higher up the pitch. I have no problems with that either. But the defense again, did you not see today that Arteta showed up his defense with the rightful, the set
Yeah,
of
that's
the.
because Thomas Partey was injured, mate.
I don't. Was he injured?
Yeah,
No, no, he wasn't injured.
he's
I think
injured. He's
I
not
was
in the. He is injured. He's not in the team sheet. He's injured.
He's injured.
not on the squad either. He's not in the squad.
No, he's not.
Okay, I didn't know that. But even then, this is, in my opinion, we looked much better as a defensive unit. We way better, for sure.
I don't know.
We were Ben White at
I
right
mean,
back.
yeah, I just feel like we could have totally won this match, and that is thanks to Arsenal's defense as well. I just feel like when you look at yes, Saliba is really good, but he makes some mistake. He made some mistakes today as well, and Gabriel. I just don't think Gabriel is that good. I mean, I just feel that because you have a better, you signed a better defender this season in Hurricane Timber, and you'll see it as we used to, like, United fans used to follow him last season because we wanted him.
Oh, he's amazing.
He'll show
But
you
he
what
cannot play
real
left
class
center
is.
back. He's not going to play left center back. But we also have a lot of Arsenal fans do say that Kiwior is better than Gabriel. A lot of people say that. So
Right.
he hasn't featured enough because Gabriel is probably preferred over him. But I'm sure we'll see more of Kiwior as well. He's pretty commanding, and then he will, except for fixing his shoes in the middle of a live game. He's
Right.
pretty good. But listen,
Right.
I'm going to sign out. I think it was a great win for us. I think this keeps us still in that conversation where if we really fix ourselves up, we haven't dropped a lot of important points. We dropped 2 points. Um, Again, we should have probably gotten those 2 points against Fulham at home, but I wouldn't say it's a terrible start. 10 out of 12, the first 4 games, not bad at all. We still have the opportunity to fix ourselves, and hopefully we can see the Arsenal from last season. Come, after the international break, Arteta is going to have enough time to play around with this, systems and tactics, and hopefully we'll see the Arsenal of 22-23. Okay, well, I'm going to drop.
Before Jishnu's leaving, I have one more question for Jishnu. Okay, Jishnu, what do you feel about the Declan Rice signing? Is he doing well? Is he up to the mark, fulfilling
So
your expectations?
I will tell you something. Okay, Declan Rice is not. How do I put it? He's not a Tony Cruz. He's not a Luka Modric. He's not. He is a perfect defensive midfielder. If you follow, our human eyes are trained. When, let's say, for example, you were watching the game when
But
United is on the.
Jishnu, I'd like to interrupt you here. Was he going to be that defensive midfielder for you, considering that you have Thomas Partey as well,
For me,
or
no.
was he signed to replace Granit Xhaka?
He was not. He was originally signed to be the defensive midfielder, the number 6, by Arteta. But however, I would prefer right now that Partey is there as well, Partey to play CDM, and because I don't rate Kai Havertz. I just don't. So, but either way, I'll just tell you why I feel like Declan Rice is doing his job, because he's not making mistakes. He shores up the back. He's always there, for a pass from the centre backs. He is, ping passes. But I think the major problem is that when you're a midfielder, the trio has to be very important. The fluidity is being lost because of that one guy. Trust me, if we do not see Havertz on the pitch, who is playing right next to Declan Rice, now he's upended because there's only one guy he can pass the ball to, Odegaard. The other guy is slowing down the game, right? So that's why I feel like, Havertz leaving the pitch, you will see the best of Declan Rice. Today, you saw as soon as he left, he was way more, involved in the attack, and the gameplay was more controlled. We had more control of the pitch. I get it, Garnacho got through one time, but that can happen anytime. United are a fantastic team with fantastic players, right? But once Havertz left, we were able to then, close the players down faster. We were able to control the game better. That's what I would say.
Havertz is a disaster. He's forgotten how to play football.
I don't know why.
By the
He's
way,
just doing-
I got a screenshot from Sham actually. So apparently this is from Fabrizio Romano, and Arteta quoted that I said to Havertz, "Things are hard at the beginning. When I met my wife at the beginning, it was hard to conquer her. It was hard. I had to try and message her and go." Whatever that means. At the end, when she said, "Yes, we can be together," it's beautiful. This is apparently what Arteta said in the post-match interview.
About Kai Havertz.
Yeah. Now
I
we
don't
now
know.
we know why he signed Kai Havertz.
I don't know what is going on between the two of them, but it's definitely not PG friendly. I can tell you whatever's happening behind the back. But anyway, listen, I gotta go, guys. Thank you so much for bringing me in, and hopefully you guys talk about a little bit more about Callum Wilson. I really rate that guy. Love him.
Nobody's
But
going to talk about him when you're not here. Trust me.
okay, well, okay. Peace out, guys. Bye.
Have a nice time.
Bye.
Okay, so yeah, that's a wrap on the Arsenal and United match. Very disappointed, but let's see. It's just like 4 games. Hopefully, like I think we had 6 points in 12 last season as well, but this is not the same season, and I cannot hope that we're going to recover like we did last season. So let's see.
Thank you for watching that video. We are a community of passionate football fans, and we post weekly videos on transfer news, match reactions, tactical analysis, and sometimes just gossip on the most exciting sport in the world. If that's what you like to hear, then hit that subscribe button and join the conversation with us.